Hey everybody, it's Michael Strahan, and I just like you having same conversation with my friends and family about what's going on, about the death of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, just continuously having the conversation over and over again that we continue to have too much. I don't get it, don't understand it, mad as hell about it, because we continue to have the same conversation. And at the end of the day, there seems to be no resolution, no justice, no finish. And I think that is the frustrating thing. It's very hard to understand as a black man why the color of your skin makes people scared of you. As they say, and I hear it all the time, not every cop is a bad cop. Not every black person is a bad person. Plain and simple. And I have a lot of cops who are my friends. I have cops who work for me. They are incredible people. We share, some of my best friends actually share tons of stories. Like it's amazing. They're amazing people, but they're always in everything. These situations especially, there are people who make one entire profession, one group of people look bad. And as a black man in this country, a country that's supposed to be free, a country that's supposed to have your back, supposed to be your country you work so hard for and your families work so hard for. My father in the military, all these years serving this country, but not have the freedoms that you're fighting for others to have. Not having the respect you're fighting for others to have, but expected to give respect is the hardest part. And, everyone, I would probably imagine being famous, being known. Does it help? Yeah, in some ways it does, but a lot of times somebody doesn't know you're famous. A week and a half ago, I'm in the car driving, nice car, just driving. I get pulled over, cop pulls over for nothing. I'm not speeding. I'm in traffic. I'm nothing, just doing nothing but driving while black. And comes up to my window, looks in and goes, "Oh, Michael, I'm such a big fan. When I was a kid, I'd go trick-or-treating just to come by your house hoping to meet you." And what a way to meet me, by pulling me over for doing nothing. That's not the first time, many times over my years. But it's just little things like that, just agitate. But imagine if you're not famous. Imagine if it happened to you all the time. Imagine if you're getting pushed around and disrespected and talked to in a way that makes you feel subhuman. And to see George Floyd die in the way he died, with such a callous attitude towards his life, such disdain for the public who is begging you to let that man breathe, it angers me. I get the protests. I understand the protests. I do not agree with the looting and the rioting, because that's taking advantage of a situation and dishonoring George Floyd and all the others who we know of who have died senselessly at the hands of the police. I'm shocked and surprised we got to keep having these conversations over and over again. Every few months, every year, or whatever, I feel like we're having these conversations over and over again, and it has to stop, because people are human beings. We need to look and respect each other as a human being, as we would treat your family, expect them to be treated when they walk out the house. You shouldn't have to worry that they're not going to come back, or they possibly won't come back. I mean, my son was put in the back of a cop car, and they walked the person by to look in the back to say if that him or not, because he looked like someone they said was Dominican who had robbed someone. Shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen, people. So am I pissed? Absolutely. But as a black man, if I show too much anger, then you're scared of me. Shouldn't be the case. Shouldn't be the case. And I hold on to hope. That's it. Hold on to hope. Hope my kids can grow up and be in a place that's better than the place that we're in right now. And that's the only thing we can hope for. And if it doesn't change now, I don't know what it's going to take to change it. Because now the power is not in the politicians. The power is not in some grand speech. The power is in people. People make a change. We all know that. So we need to stop depending, I feel, on others to change for us. And we got to get together and we got to make a change for ourselves in a positive way, in a peaceful way, if possible. Continue to have these conversations. I think it's important. Continue to respect each other. That's important. And most of all, God, just angry, upset, sad, scared, all that. And hopefully there's some change coming.
What's going on Facebook Live? As promised, I said I was going to go live around 6:30 and go ahead and speak on about Mr. George Floyd. It's a difficult thing to deal with, man. I've had to pray for strength all day long, y'all. All day long. And like I said, I didn't really sleep much last night because I know it was over 800 people that sent me that video. And I know I spent time being with family and friends. And I waited till I got home, till I got settled down, and I watched it before I went to bed. And that just totally ruined my day. Before I get started, guys, and some of you all are new to my page or whatnot, a lot of you all know me by now. I don't bite my tongue on anything. I do get a lot of trolls from time to time that think otherwise. They say, well, hey, Deputy Woodard, why aren't you outraged? You don't know if I'm outraged or not, because evidently I am. I'm very pissed off. Hey, Deputy Woodard, you got a platform. Why don't you use it and stop sitting on the fence and start, if they're going to do this to us, why don't you do that to them? I'm not that kind of person. I don't fight fire with fire, and I don't bring hate into my page. I don't fight people with hate. But you need to talk to some of your fellow officers or whatever and tell them to stop killing people. People don't understand. Every cop, every police officer does not know every police officer. I don't know any of those police officers up there in Minneapolis. Okay, I know police officers in my department, and we have a lot of good officers that I work with. I haven't seen them do anything wrong, and then they're getting blamed because just because of the color of their skin. Well, just like today, one of them came to me and said, Woodard, I heard what happened. I saw the video, but I didn't do anything like that. And people, are attacking me and stuff like that, man. And I even showed them some of the video that happened today, and they were disgusted by it. So, I know people say things like, well, you're probably one of the ones who just stand around and do nothing when you see your coworker doing wrong. I have some very good coworkers. I can't speak for other people in other departments, but I can speak for Brian Woodard. These words coming out of this mouth is not any other department out there. I'm only speaking for myself. I'm speaking for Brian Woodard. Now, some people might like what I have to say, and some people might not. They might not like it, and that's okay, because you have a choice to whether you want to stay or turn the page. Now, I watched that video of Gregory Floyd, and it is hurtful. He should still be alive today. He should still be alive today. There shouldn't be any reason in the world why his mother and his family should have to bury him, because he should still be alive. Yes, I'm saying it. And I'm not really hurt as a black man. I'm not hurt as a businessman. I'm not even hurt as a policeman. I'm hurt on the inside from what I saw as a human. Just like Gregory Floyd, just like Mr. George Floyd. Mr. Floyd was human. A human being whose life was taken senselessly. Now, on this page, I have a lot of joy. I have a lot of happiness. I like to build that bridge between the community and law enforcement. But it's so hard when you have these stupid cops that get out there and mess it up for all of us. Mess it up for the ones who are actually out here trying to work and provide for their families and do their job. I wrote some of these words down from what I heard in the video, and I thought about this all day, from the words that were coming out George Floyd's mouth. I'm about to die. There was a man in the audience on the curb that was saying, man, look, y'all don't handle him that way, because I had a friend of mine, he died just like that when the police was doing this to him and doing that to him. And Mr. Floyd said the same things. Well, I'm about to die the same. He said that. He also said, I can't breathe. My face. Just get up. I can't breathe. Please, your knee is in my neck. And then to hear a grown man, knowing that he's helpless, call for his mother. Mama, mama. And some of you ladies who have children, you know how hard it is when you know your child is in need or they're hurt and they're calling your name, and sometimes you might not get to them right away. It does something to you on the inside. He also said, my stomach hurts, my neck hurts, everything hurts. Look at the video. These are the words that are coming out of this man's mouth on the ground. Please, please, officer. Please, please. I can't breathe, officer. I believe his last words were, I cannot breathe. Do you know how hard it is to try to continue to try to bring peace and love in the community when you still have a lot of rotten apples and bad apples? It is very hard. And I'm going to say it. Some people do not need to be in law enforcement. It's an embarrassment. But I'm not worried, because God is going to deal with those. God is going to definitely deal with those. And then the crazy officer that's standing out there looking stupid in the middle of the street. Yes, I said it, looking stupid at the people. They're telling him, look what you're doing. You're hurting him. He can't breathe. And the thing that comes out of his mouth is, oh, well, that's what you shouldn't do. Don't do drugs. I don't care what kind of drugs this man was doing. I don't even know if he was actually on drugs or not. I don't care. But if he was on drugs, I don't care if he was doing crack. I don't care if he was shooting up. I don't care if he was even smoking weed or snorting cocaine. Does that mean that his life is worthless? No, it does not. Does that mean he's less of a person because he has made mistakes or he has something in the system? No, it does not. People act like they get so high and mighty that they forget where they come from. There's a lot of people who have crazy problems in their family too. Like drug. I have them in my family. Do I have people who have smoked crack in my family? Yes, I have. Do I have people that smoke weed in my family? Yes, I have. Yes, I do. Do I have people who've had drug problems and alcohol problems or whatever problems? Yes, I'm saying that as also. I have that in my family as well too. But that does not mean that I sit there and I look down on them and thinking that their life is worthless and their life is lesser than life that I have. Like their life is more, like my life is more important than them. No. Who do some of these people think they are when they get in some of these high positions and they think they're doing well and they're making money and they wear a badge and whatever the case might be? Some people are wearing it the wrong reasons because they forget where they come from. Our job is to serve and protect the community. That's what we're supposed to do. And a lot of people that get in these offices or get in these positions, they forget that. They act like their life is just petty. I don't care what this man was on. They can say whatever. I don't care if they said he was on sandpaper. He was still loved by somebody. He was still loved by somebody, y'all. From what I saw and what I showed some of my officers that that I'm friends with and that I work with, when they saw the video today, even of the opposite race, even the white, they said, Woodard, that's just plain murder. Why would they do that? Yes, it is. Plain murder. Plain murder. What I saw in that video, guys, was disturbing. A lot of people don't know this, but coming up as a young teenager, I used to work in a funeral home. And thank you and kudos to John Beckwith, who owns the Golden Gate Funeral Home in Dallas, Texas. He took me up under his wing. And back when I used to work the morgue at a young age, I've seen people come in there all kinds of ways. Cut up, shot up, dead, cancered out, whatever the case might be. That man's eyes got really big in that camera while he was laying on the ground, just like this, and then they relaxed. He died at the scene. He died at the scene. He took his last breath on Facebook Live. Could you imagine how his family feels if his family saw that? They saw it. And there's nothing they could do about it right then and there. Minutes went by. This officer still has his knee inside this man's neck. Do you know how hard concrete is in the street and you're putting your body weight on it? More time went by. He still has his knee in this man's neck. The paramedics even get there. The paramedics get there. He still has his knee in this man's neck. You even see a paramedic come and check his pulse. This officer's knee is still in this man's neck, y'all. The only time he gets up is when they pick up his lifeless body. Death had already settled in and taken over. And of course, none of those people out there were doctors, because anybody knows, even if you die at some scenes, you still get pronounced dead at the hospital. A doctor has to pronounce you dead. I saw death right there because I've seen death at a young age and as a police officer. But I've seen it first when I was younger. I know how death looks in the face. And what's so disturbing about it is there are people that wanted to help. Don't get me wrong. People on the sidewalk tell, hey, look at them. They're telling this officer, and you still have your dumb behind with your knee in this guy's neck while he's lifeless on the ground. So already gone. Death is already taken over. But it's sad that people wanted to go ahead and help and they couldn't. They could not help because they were afraid. That officer took his mace out. Hey, get back there. It's just like a spider catching his lunch. You better not come near it, or a dog getting his lunch. If you come near what the dog already has in his mouth, guess what? He's going to growl at you. Stuff in the street. I've dealt with a lot of stuff throughout my whole life, but I have never seen something so heinous just like that. So demonic. And like I said, I don't care what that man has done. When you have your hands behind your back and your face down, ladies and gentlemen, you can pass out and not wake up. We learned that in the academy. It's called positional asphyxiation. Positional asphyxia. For those who are police officers on this page, corrections officer, especially corrections, jailers, people who's working prisons, prison guards, you all learned about positional asphyxiation because I taught it. I ran the academy when I worked for the state jail. I used to be a correctional officer as well. We had a whole course talking about positional asphyxiation. Because when you're face down and your arms are behind your back, your chest, your rib cage, your lungs need to expand so you can breathe. But by you being combined and bound and face down with your hands behind your back, it's hard to get oxygen. It's hard for your lungs to expand. So one thing that we've always learned, well, if you, and I've learned it myself, if you ever get a criminal, if you catch him, if you put him down and handcuff him and he's detained, roll him over to his side so positional asphyxiation will not occur. It says the same thing. Every book, if you get into combat with somebody or a fight, when you take him to the ground and place him on the ground, place hand restraints on him, which are handcuffs, roll him over to his side so positional asphyxiation will not occur. Even if he's combative or he's fighting or whatever the case might be, if you have care, custody, and control of that person, he's already restrained, roll him over to his side or put him on his behind so positional asphyxiation will not occur. Look it up. That's something that you should know. That's something that those officers should have known. Positional asphyxiation, there it is right there, guys. Google it. Is a form of asphyxia, which occurs when someone's position prevents the person from breathing adequately. Positional asphyxia may be a factor for people who die suddenly in a hogtie restraint, either by police or prisons or correctional officers, military or healthcare. That's one of the reasons why you don't see police officers and law enforcement agencies. Remember back in the day, they used to hog tie people, put their hands behind their back, and if they're combative, they tie their legs up behind their back with it too. You can't do that anymore because people kept passing away. It's called positional asphyxiation. Look it up. And the other part about it, you have officers there that know this. That makes it so bad for all of us. And you know this. And that crazy officer just standing there looking stupid knows this. And you think it's okay. It's not okay. All these officers out here trying their best to be all that they can be and work hard and take care of their family and have to come back and deal with this. And I say that because I deal with it. I'm not one of those kind of officers. I treat people with dignity and respect. And I do teach at the academy from time to time. And when I don't care what subject I teach at the academy, I tell the cadets all the time, remember, if there's anything that you must do or that you must not forget, is always remain humble, because there's somebody's mother you're dealing with, somebody's brother you're dealing with, somebody's uncle, somebody's cousin, somebody's son, somebody's daughter, whatever. Somebody loves that person who you're dealing with. It's important to be humble all the time. And it's sad that even when I was pulling people over from time to time, some people, they got relaxed when they saw me. I pulled a person over one time and, oh, thank God it's you. That should tell you something. Well, this officer is going to do the right thing. I don't have anything to worry about. We've gotten to that point. Let me tell you all one quick thing. I had a similar situation in Dallas. Okay, this guy was, I don't know what he shot up. They said it was methamphetamine or speed, whatever it was. Anyway, we got in a fight in the middle of the street in full uniform. I'm fighting this guy. I'm by myself. I didn't have a partner with me at the time. I maced this guy. I even batoned him. Yes, I did. But he would not go down. I'm not Superman. This does not make you Superman. What did the people do? The public, they started taking their phones out and started to record me. Nobody would help. Everybody sees that, hey, I'm trying not to do any kind of harm to this man. And I laid on him, on his back, until the sheriff's department got there, until the police department got there, because I could not fight anymore. Had I had shot that young man, it would have been another thing about, oh, it's an unarmed shooting, or he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do this. There's certain things, officers, that you can do to prevent a lot of these things. Sometimes we're placed in bad decisions and bad situations, and I understand that. But for me, I remember it like it was yesterday. I took a risk that day, and I end up going to the grand jury. And one of the questions that they asked me, some officers know what I'm talking about. The grand jury, where you have these tables and rows of people sitting before you, is 2 levels, 1 level and 2 level, and they're throwing questions at you back and forth, back and forth. And one of the questions was, well, Deputy Woodard, if your life was in danger, which it was, because we saw this video and we saw this and we read the statements from people and whatever, how could you not? Why did you not use deadly force? And my simple answer was, because I laid on top of them and I held on because I knew help was coming until help arrived. Sometimes you have to make the right decisions. Now, could that be justified? Could I have done something? It could have went either way. But I love people too much. Some people that have problems with drugs and things like that, I still love them. They're still our people. Regardless of what race they are, they're still loved by somebody. And that's when I talk about power. Because a lot of people have certain powers and they abuse it. God gave us all power. He gave us our own individual power. Everybody on this page, how many people watching? About 8,000 people, 8.2 thousand people watching. God gave everybody a type of power on this page by hand, single. He gave you power, you power, you power. And it's about how you use it. Even back in the Bible days, he gave certain ones power. God gave Samson power. He gave him the power of strength. He gave David power, the power of being fearless with a slingshot to take on a giant. He gave Noah the power of obedience and do what I say, because he built that ark and he listened. God gave Moses power in a staff to divide the Red Sea. That's unimaginable. God even gave his son power to come down here and die on the cross for you. He even gave him power to raise the dead, to raise Lazarus, to make the blind man see, to turn water into wine, to die for you because he loved you that much. A lot of people don't know what to do with the power that they have. Even nowadays in time, you got Martin Luther King. When he marched, God gave him the power of speech to bring people together in a good voice. Pure love, nonviolence. He gave him that power because some people can't hold on. They just want to be violent, violent, violent. And I understand how some people feel. You go down the list, gave the president power of state, power over America, power to make this decision, power of that decision. Governors, mayors, elected officials. He gave them power to make certain decisions for powerful people. Let me get out on the pastors, y'all. Pastors and preachers. He gave them power to be powerful leaders to the flocks that are lost. Teachers, I can go on and on. Scientists, the powers of knowledge. People who work in restaurants, cooks, chefs, gave them the power to put a lot of things together that we wouldn't think of just to make it taste good. You can go on down the line. Firefighters, dentists, people working in stores. Everybody has a certain type of power that God gave them. And then we come down to what the situation is now with police officers. God gave us power too. Blessed are the peacemakers. He gave us the power to not be afraid, but to put our life on the line. He also gave us the power of arrest and authority to keep people safe. But some of those powers that some of these officers have, they're abusing it. The kind of power that God gives each and every one of us, we could do two things, one or two things. We could either use it the way he intended us to use it, or we can abuse it. And when you abuse it, it causes people to hurt. It causes destruction. It causes sadness. It causes pain because the power he gave you is powerful. And I think of 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but the Lord has given us power. Gave us the power of love and the sound mind. A lot of people just don't understand that. I hate to see people abusing their power. I saw the riots, you all, and I hope this message really reaches to a lot of people in Minneapolis. I saw the riots online because of the death of him, because of the death of Mr. Floyd. It's confusing. I've seen people throwing and smashing bricks on police cars, protesters throwing rocks and throwing bricks through squad car units, and people destroying property and people making fire bombs. And you all listen, that is not the type of power that God gave you. He didn't give you that type of power. He did not give you the power of hate. I know you're struggling. I know you're mad because I'm mad. I know you're upset. And to add on to that, People have been around sitting at home due to COVID-19, sitting in the house all day long, wanting to go outside. You've already been frustrated. You already got a lot of agitation in you. I understand that. But I'm asking that young man that's part of that riot and that's planning on rioting again, because I know a lot of these young people, they have that kind of mindset. Hey, young man, please, man, put that bottle down. There's no need to destroy anything of what people worked hard for. That young lady with that spray can, doing graffiti and spraying these police cars and things like that, put that can down. Because it's not going to help the situation, you all. That's your community. To my brothers and sisters, don't destroy their own buildings. Don't destroy your own places of worship. Don't destroy your own stores. Don't destroy your community. Because when you bring hate into it, not only does it affect you, because you don't see it right now, but it affects other people. Prime example, now that you have rioted and let's say you destroyed everything and you destroyed the stores, you destroyed this and destroyed that. Well, did you think about your senior citizens? Think about grandma. Grandma is a diabetic. She needs to go to the store to get her insulin so she can live. And she can't do that anymore because it's destroyed by looters and protesters and people acting crazy and destroying the businesses. She shouldn't have to suffer, y'all. There's single moms out there. Single moms are very powerful. They hold it together. They can make two ends meet from time to time. It's hard, but I know the struggle is real. But they still need clothes and diapers to feed their children, for food, and they need to clothe them and bathe them. They need soap. They need utilities. They need things that they have to get from the store to take care of their kids. But they won't be able to do that if you destroy your community. They will have to go way yonder to go to another store, or way yonder to go to get this. And some people don't have vehicles, y'all. Everybody is not blessed like everybody else. You're only hurting yourself. So I ask you guys, and there's a lot of celebrities that I know around that's been on my page before too, use your platform to help me bring love back. Because it's so hard to try to bring people together. Some people have positive platforms that they can use for the good. If God gave you that type of power, use it for the good. I've called out certain people that I know are good celebrities. I know it's not in scandals all the time. Just like when I said Ellen DeGeneres last time, use your platform to help these people. Steve Harvey, use your platform to help these young men and women. These are people who I'm calling out that do an excellent job, and I commend them. But it's times like come together more than ever. Do not allow yourself to let the devil use you guys. Because if there's anybody frustrated, or if there's anybody that's hurting right now, or if there's anybody that's mad that needs us right now, is George Floyd's family. They need us. Don't get so caught up in rioting and getting frustrated and things like that, which I know that's the human part of you. Somebody's still sad back there. Somebody still needs you. Somebody still needs to be sad. They wish they had their child back. They wish they had their family member back. They don't have them anymore. They need us. There's some people out there that, like I said before, that really don't need to be police officers because they don't know what it feels like to serve. We can wear a badge all day long. But if you don't have a heart up under that badge, then you need to get out. This is not the career for you. You need to find something else to do because you're hurting us all. You're hurting us all. And you're hurting it for people like me that try hard to go ahead and try to help people, encourage people to overcome certain things like this. It makes it harder for me. And not only does it make it hard for me, I get challenged with it too, because I get hate mail because I'm a cop. I get this in there. I get this. Yeah, you just like that. No, I get all that. But if you don't have a heart up under this, this is not the career for you. And let me say this to some of these young folks out there. All cops are not the same, baby. All of us are not the same. I can't be blamed for what the other officer does or what another cop does. I can't be blamed for what a cop does way across the country, but I get blamed for it. I'm only human as well too, but all I can do is do the right thing. It shouldn't be to the point where we have to prove to you that, hey, we're the good guys. We need to start praying these demonic ones out. And for those of you all that feel that it's okay, oh, it's just another, ain't nothing gonna happen, whatever, watch and see how God works. There are people on this page right now that have no idea how it feels to lose someone who you love so much. Could you imagine your son, for those of you that have children, laying on the ground? Put yourself in his place. What if that was your son and you're watching him and you can't do anything about it? What if it's your daughter and you're watching them and they're pleading, they're calling for your help, if there's nothing you can do and you want to go over there and save them, but you can't because you're afraid of retaliation. You think that, hey, you're going to be done the same way. For those of you all that would like to get a feeling of it, I want you to close your eyes right now for 30 seconds. And I want you to imagine somebody in your family or in your life that you cannot live without. And you put that person on the ground with somebody's knee in their neck and they're crying out to you that they can't breathe. And you sit there and you watch them pass away. Think of it as your family member. 30 seconds of silence. Just 30 seconds. Think about your family. Starting now. It's not fair and it's not right. You all continue to pray for his family and continue to use the power that God gave you for the good. But this too shall pass, you all. Troubles don't last always. Yes, people still hate me because of what I do for a living, but I'm not them. People dislike me because they feel that they should have chose a career path for me and they thought that I should be something else, but I'm not them. But even in this, I'm still going to be able to serve my community, and I will serve my community with respect and honor and integrity. There's a lot of great cops out here that don't get recognized for the great work that they do. All you see online is the destructions and killings. That's what they're feeding our minds with. Yes, it's bad, but sometimes can people get a break? There are a lot of great people out here that are not getting recognized for all the good work that they do. But they don't want to show you that. Their ratings go up when it's destruction and hate and harm. I just wish the media could. I just wish the media could shine a positive light on positive people that are doing positive and powerful things. I love you guys. Even the trolls, I love you guys as well too, because even if you're saying, hey, well, I can't stand you, or you a cop and blah, 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 I hate you, you know what? You can hate me all you want because I still love you. And if it came down to it, I'll still die for you. I'll still put my life on the line for you. Why? Because that's what I'm sworn to do. I don't pick and choose. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what your religion or your creed or what you like to do or your personality or your lifestyle. I love people and I will serve you. I took my oath seriously. That's why I always say, I refuse to see hate live while love dies. I refuse to see hate live while love dies. I know the power that God gave me, and I know how to use it. Do you know how to use yours?
I zoomed in. I'll zoom out a little bit. Those cops will come for you if you're pulling that crap.
Looks like, yeah. So as you can see, the auto goes.
I just came with a hammer and smashed the windows.
I'm gonna fight you right now. You wanna go? What's up? Somebody hold my blunt. Hey, somebody hold my blunt. I'm gonna get it. Hey. Are you a fucking cop? What's up? Who's standing there? What's up?
For a black man telling you states are foreign companies, I'm glad y'all trust them.